Episode number 1. This is going to be the idea for the screenplay that I'm going to take on for this process. I'm in my garage right now. Excuse the mess. I'm working on some wood projects I need to get done for my mother's birthday. But being out here, I got a chance to just kind of meditate on some thoughts and figure out what exactly I wanted to do. And this is a little bit of a cheat because I've been actually thinking about this idea for a while. I just wasn't sure if I was ever ready to tackle it. But here it is. So about 3 years ago, I was in Florence, Italy. My second time there. I did school there when I was younger, so I was very familiar with the area. And I was doing the whole museum run, and I was explaining the David to my wife, just the information I did know on the David. And as I was explaining to her, I realized that there's always been one piece of information that's always stuck with me over time. And that's about the David specifically. And that's the year was finished, 1504. Michelangelo finished the David, and there was a committee that was held to figure out where it was going to be moved and essentially where it would live. And this process took 4 days. It took a number of people all working together to help move this thing, a whole bunch of processes and kind of ingenuity on moving this stuff through cobblestone streets. They had problems with the archways. They had problems with the balance of the whole thing. 4 days, a half mile dealing with that, and then also a little bit of protest. People. There was jealous competitors at the time. There were a little bit of political unrest with the Medici and the Republic of Florence. And I thought about this, and I thought about how could that be a movie, essentially, right? Like there's two kinds of movies that I love. I love point A to point B movies. You know, think about like Mad Max Fury Road, very simple in concept, but then just executed so elegantly. Or something like 310 to Yuma. This is the one I keep going back to, is the 310 to Yuma, the 310 to Yuma Western, especially the one that James Mangold did. I love that movie so much. I love those kind of movies, and I love ensemble movies, getting the team together. The Ocean's 11s, just like the superhero movies that you go out and you have that fun bit in the middle where you're assembling this ragtag group of people. So I thought, could this be a movie? Could that 4-day journey? Could you open this movie with Michelangelo finishing the David, figure out some main characters, bring in some peripheral characters in these iconic Renaissance artists that we know, the Leonardo, Michelangelo, of course, but then also who are the people around? What was the city like? What kind of people would have signed up for this job, especially being that, they had to protect this thing. They had to protect this statue that the city deemed to be this most beautiful thing that couldn't live up on a cathedral. It needed to be on the ground so that everybody can see, down at what would eventually become the Palazzo Vecchio, so that everyone can witness its perfection. So that's it. I mean, that's the germ of the idea that I have, is writing a 4-day journey that these ragtag team of folks have to move this statue down through a half mile of just shit, essentially. Just shit happening with the people, having to tear apart the city, having to fight off the protesters, fight off the competitors, keep this thing guarded at night. And this will give me a chance to explore some of the more, boots to the ground, on the street level characters of the Renaissance Italy. We always see the Medicis, we see the Pope, we see these fictitious works that portray the giants of that, the Goliaths, if you will, of that era. But I want to write real folks dealing with a very specific, strange problem that seems easy by today's standards, but by then it was a whole thing. And then I will start to work in conflict and antagonists and figure out all of that stuff as it sort of comes to me. So that's it. That's the idea. That's going to be this first video. I'm just going to ruminate and think this through. The next process of this for me is really start playing the movie in my head, figuring out what the movie looks like. And for me, that is a lot of thinking. That is a lot of like going for jogs. A lot of this stuff happens to me when I'm running, or when I'm doing just like meditative work, like woodworking, where it's just physical, but I can let my mind wander. So I'm going to let my mind wander a lot, and I'm going to come back when I have a bit of an idea of what kind of characters I want to inhabit this world with. And then from there, we'll figure out plot and all that stuff. But for right now, I'm just going to keep playing that in my mind until it becomes a movie that I can then put pen to paper and get writing. So thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow, which will be number 2 on this writing series, Road to First Draft. Bye.